I'm Ryan, co-founder and CTO of Cleary, and we are an AI-powered HR support platform. There's kind of three key pieces of this: knowledge management, chatbot, and ticketing system, and it's all powered on Ruby on Rails. So I was asking Claude Code before I came here, what are all the great buzzwords I could throw out at you? We got NLP triage and classification, Gen AI workflows, agentic analytics, and adaptive learning loops. So I prefer to show rather than tell, though. So we'll see how well this non-deterministic live demos go here. So this is kind of the base thing that employees see when they log into the platform. It's knowledge-based, but the main interface is you chat with it. So let's say I'm going to the Ruby conference, and I want to know if I can reimburse it. So you can ask AI. Oh, well, I need to. Is my Wi-Fi not loading here? All right, well, live demos. Let me try and turn the Wi-Fi off. Okay, I think we're back here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it'll search the knowledge base and go ahead and answer your question. We should find something about our learning budget in there. What's the... Okay, so I believe, yeah, okay, here we go, benefits and perks. So yeah, there's a $1,500 budget. Okay, that's pretty simple. What if I wanted to respond a certain way if someone asks about something? So let's say if I ask about Ruby on Rails, I want to remind people that there's a conference happening. So as an admin, I can go in, training, and we have a guidance feature. So if anyone asks about Ruby on Rails, we're going to say, answer their query, and then remind them that the conference is happening. So I will activate this, and then we should see if I just ask anything about Ruby.
You activated the one about holidays, not Rails.
Thank you. So this should remind me that there's a conference coming up soon here. And there we go. So that's pretty basic. The next layer beyond that is agentic workflows. So how do I refer my friend? What this is doing is under the hood, it's getting classified into a particular agentic workflow, and there's a bunch of tools exposed to that. So I can go in and upload a resume of my friend. So we got Matt's applying for a job here, and it should, it's going to analyze the resume, figure out who he is, what are his skills, go look at the available job postings that we have, and then match him up. And this is all powered by various tools that we configure with the agent behind the scenes. So it's finding the relevant positions, and there we go. So do you want to refer him? I'll say, yep. And there we go. My referral has been submitted. So you can see the tool calls going through here. We try and provide transparency to the user as to what's going on. And then if I want to come back later and ask about any of the status of my referrals, I can do that. And it can identify between all the various adapters that we have with the ATS system, what's going on. Okay, found two referrals there. Okay, so that's kind of like the chatbot layer. And then there's also a ticketing system in here. So the ticketing system, I can go in and let's try, I'll just show you kind of the full end-to-end workflow first for what can go on for a ticket here, how it's fully automated. So let's say I need to get a mortgage application letter for my rent. So more Wi-Fi issues. All right, so if I create that ticket, under the hood, what's going to go on is there's a two-tier classification system that should get kicked off. So first thing, it got routed into the right department through there. And then next layer beyond that, we classify it into the appropriate topic within there. Then we kick off a workflow. So this is that kind of the happy path where the workflow gets fully automated and the ticket is resolved. Previously, what would have happened here, someone would have managed the ticket, they would have responded a couple hours later, there would have been back and forth, and they filled out a template, and then finally you get your letter like 24 hours after the fact, and someone spent 10 minutes putting it together. This was just resolved in 10 seconds for you. So those are some of the use cases that we handle. I thought what would be cool to show here is how some of this stuff works under the hood. And maybe we can build up a example of one of these use cases happening here. So let's try and ask, so this one here, someone submitted a ticket. Can I get health insurance for my dog? And right now what's going on is we have the first tier of classification happening. It routes it correctly, but then there's no automation beyond that. So we know that this is going to the benefits department, but how can we get it to like automate all the end to end? So we built evals into the product and reference tickets, and so I can go ahead and add this as a reference ticket to this topic here. And now, if I submit another ticket like that, what should happen is, now that that's as a reference ticket, we should get into the second stage of the classification. There. And if it doesn't happen, we can add another reference ticket. Okay, so let me see. All right, we need to add it as let's just add another one directly. So a lot of working with AI is actually like looking at your data and configuring things deep under the hood. So this is in the benefits area, and we've got that topic. So I'm going to say here, that's the one I added as a reference, but let's try another one. All right, so let's try that one more time. right, so hopefully this gets classified correctly in here. All right, first layer's done. Okay, well, luckily I prepared a backup. In here, you can see it going through. I forget which one it is. All right, well, we're going to. This is actually a good example of what it's actually like to build these things. It's a struggle. But you end up classifying lots of results back and forth here. So what I'm going to do is, ultimately what happens is, there's a lot of Wi-Fi issues here, but once tickets are closed, they can create FAQs in the platform. So in this case, we have someone asking about, health insurance is an example I was working on earlier. This was automatically created by a number of tickets that were closed earlier. You can see people asking like, can I add my dog? Yes. And then, across all these different things, turns out we're adding a new benefit. February 2026, happy pet insurance for everyone. Great. So I can go approve this. That is now in the system. And then if I go up here and then like ask a new question, you can see that running it should find that FAQ that we just created and answer it automatically there. So that's an example of like an end-to-end loop where the content being generated is then pushed to the user proactively and then automatically leveraged in the future to create new stuff for people to consume. And then lastly, I'll show we have evals built into the product as well. So the other thing is like, how do you actually know this stuff is working? AI is non-deterministic, right? You never really know what you're going to get, as we just saw. So what we have in these like classification layers is a set of evals associated with the two core pieces. So in this case, the first layer, department triage, you can see kind of the activity, what's happening, the percentage of things that are being routed correctly. And then beyond that, you can define a set of evals. In this case, I made these this morning here. Here's an example where you can go and run these. And what this is going to do, if I go in here, actually, let's go into the data set. You can see, this is all the sample data in here. So in this case, I do know what the expected department is and what the result should be, so I can figure out if it's correct or not. So the system is set up where you can automatically add these things into these data sets and then run the workflows. So I can go in, I'll just run the shorter one for now. This is only 5 tickets, but I can go in here and here and whoops. Evals, create run, and as I'm iterating through it, I can test different models and things like that. But this should finish in a couple of seconds there. And then when it's done, you can go and see the results, and then typically we run maybe 10 evals or so before we'll go live with the customer, iterating our way through, and then maybe have a set of like 100 tickets as an example use cases. And in production, what we're seeing is about 80 to 85% success rate of classifications right now. There we go. Oh, maybe okay, I ran the bigger one. Well, anyway, this is what it looks like, 80%. And yeah, and so I could go into here and then just add a new question if I wanted to into that data set. here. I can either do it manually this way or from the platform, as we saw earlier. In this case, if I wanted to add this ticket, I can just do it directly here and add it to an eval set. So that's kind of the gist of what we're up to. And yeah, I think we kind of covered everything. That's all. Thank you.